Hi, everybody. This is Beth from Floating Lotus, and I just wanted to come on today and talk to you about some of what's been going on. I know that we're facing circumstances that we've never encountered before, and right now is pretty touchy for a lot of people. There's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of fear floating around, and it's been running around in my head for a couple of days to think about ways that we can make this shift. We know that we have the opportunity in a time of such flux that we can make huge changes to how we coexist as people, how we coexist as a human family, and how we can step into our future with both compassion and integrity. So, a big part of what I wanted to talk to you about was the fear that is being generated that we're seeing around us, but also ways that we can take control of that. And I'd like to offer a couple of acupressure opportunities for ways that you can calm yourself, you can come back into center, and you can start being discerning about what you allow into your worldview. I think the first thing to look at is that we recognize the future is not something that we can pin down because there are too many variables all the time. What we can deal with is what's right in front of us right now. Now, I'm in California, and so we are now on shelter in place statewide. And of course, being in my 70s, I'm also in a more vulnerable population, although I'm in great health and my immune system is strong and I'm not concerned. I'm not fearing that at this point. I don't feel there's any reason to. But the fear is palpable and it is being manufactured for us. And so, one of the things I'd like you to think about in this context of being afraid is the information overload that we have learned to live within, that we have constant input, whether you're getting your input from, you've got a TV on all the time, you're always on Facebook, you're always checking your phone. There's an overload of negativity coming at you from this. And this overload more than our brains can process. It's more than our hearts can hold. And so it drives us into that fight or flight or freeze response. And the reason that it keeps getting built up more and more is that we have to realize that the media that we're addicted to makes a profit from keeping us scared. And I think if we step back from that and recognize that we can control how much we let that affect us, then I think we can make a really positive aspect of that come into fruition. So how does this fear affect us physically? We have an adrenaline response. When we are afraid, this is something we don't control. This is something that we've gotten from millennia of being prey animals for a lot of larger mammals. If saber-toothed tiger jumps out in front of you, you don't stop and go, oh, I wonder if he's hungry. You make tracks right away, yes? And that adrenaline response depletes our immunity. So the physical presentation of this adrenaline response, your breath gets short, your pulse goes up, all the blood in your body goes into that set of muscles that's going to let you move away as fast. Mental reaction is our scattered thought patterns, the difficulty comprehending the impact of complex information, irrationality. We don't stop to think, we just act. And our emotional response is fear, anxiety, anger, tears, overload. And all these responses to that fear depletes our immunity, something that we should be really concentrating on building up right now. It's not something that we can let go of at a time when actual contagion is rampant, and we need to address how to minimize that. So one solution to that whole cycle of input, adrenaline response, immunity drop is to go on a media diet. Now, I am pretty much on a media fast. I carefully sort through what I'm going to allow into my worldview. I strongly suggest that you step away from the screens as much as you can. This is a time when we can be present for the people we live with. And that's a wonderful thing. That lets us reaffirm our own human contact, reaffirm our joy and our compassion for the people that we share our lives with. Take a rational concern for what's happening around you. And for instance, rather than trying to follow everything worldwide, unless you are a scientist quantifying data for analyzation, then just let that stuff go. Go to reliable sources for information, not what every Tom, Dick, and Harry is posting on Facebook of, using your hairdryer to kill the virus, or it'll freeze if you do this, or any of that stuff. Wash your hands, keep a safe social distance, and go to reliable sources. The CDC, your state Department of Health, your local county Department of Health, your city offices. See what is happening right around you that you can make a difference in. For instance, if you live in a place that has a hospital that's strained and doesn't have enough masks, you can make temporary washable masks if you know how to sew. That's something I can do. That's something I'm happy to do. So you sort your sources carefully. You take time before you act on something, before you click that next link, before you blow up in somebody's face, before you act in a way that's not helpful for you. Step back, reflect. Are you responsible for what is upsetting you? Or are you just being fed that fear so that you will respond and make another click and put another couple of pennies in somebody's pocket? And keep a localized focus. I'm seeing lovely things online about people who are at 7 o'clock every night, this block in what appears to be Berkeley, at 7 o'clock they all come out and somebody plays music and everybody sings at safe distances from one another. And that's really great. So look at places in your home, in your family, in your work, where you can offer cooperation, where you can offer compassion, where you can offer support. Because when we do for others, we step out of our own anxiety. We're taking action, and that makes us feel like we're in better balance. So when we look at what we've got to deal with right now, whether you're working or not, whether you are living alone or living in a house full of people, follow the protocols, take care of yourself, wash your hands, do what's best, be careful, and put the whole of the human species at the forefront rather than just yourself. Because that way all of us do better, if every one of us does better. So